I come to you today from a different location as I'm traveling, but I still wanted to record something. Something has been on my mind for a couple of weeks, actually, and it's been annoying me a little bit. It's a trend that I have observed in clients, in people close to me, and sometimes even in my own life. Have you ever made a decision very thoughtfully, a very meaningful decision that you were very sure about when you made it? But then a couple of months down the line, you start questioning that decision. It really annoys me when people go down that path. Now, sometimes it is required because some new information has come up, a situation that came up that you did not expect. Maybe there was a war that started, maybe there was a pandemic that hit. Of course, in those cases, revisiting a decision is really important because then it becomes physical danger or actual psychological or mental threat. But there is a clear distinction in those cases. What I am talking about today is when people start looking at discomfort and equating that to danger. Let me give you an example. One of my clients wanted to move so badly out of a house in a city that they were in, and they were very unhappy about it. They had been thinking about it for years. It was not a decision that was taken impulsively. They spent time, energy, effort talking to people, trying to find properties there, visiting that place, trying to see if there were any friends who could help them out. When they took the decision, they were very sure about this move. I had a session with them. I told them very clearly that, listen, it's not going to be easy. It's not that all your problems will go away once you move, that there is going to be some work that has to be done. And with all that understanding of the challenges that will come, with taking all the information into account, they moved. And later, after a couple of months, when I spoke to them, they were so miserable and nothing has changed. They knew what they were getting into. It was a new environment. It was going to be difficult. They had to find new friends. The food was going to be different. The culture was going to be different. There was no new information that had suddenly sprung up, which they did not know earlier. And yet, now they started blaming the decision, saying that this was a wrong move for me. So, do you have any kind of relationship with discomfort? If not, you really need to start thinking about it because discomfort is part and parcel of every decision that you will take. No decision which is meaningful and good in the long term is going to be easy or very sweet. As simple as changing jobs, you have to start thinking about the new job. You prepare for the interview. You give dozens of interviews. You get a good job. You know what the job entails. You have the JD in front of you. You know that it's going to be a good package. You have written all the reasons that you think why you need to take this job. And you take this job. But then you realize that, it is asking half an hour extra of my day. Or this skill that I thought that I was really good at, now something new has come up and I have to spend that 1 or 2 hours for the next few weeks studying so that I can get good at this skill. That is discomfort. That is not danger. That is part and parcel of this decision that you took. And by doing that, you are going to grow. Now, when I'm talking to you about this, you might think, yeah, of course. Who would, start rethinking their decision based on the small discomfort? Trust me, a lot of us do. It's not just few people. So then, once the job starts getting uncomfortable and the discomfort starts getting louder, people start questioning, is this the right job for me? And that distinction is very, very important. Otherwise, you become a drifter in life. Someone who just keeps jumping from one decision to another decision and is never happy. And we may think, oh, I'm not that. I don't do that. But if you sit down and look at the patterns of your decision making, you might be surprised. Why do we do this? See, it's not laziness, it's not escapism. That can be the surface level explanation. But it's far deeper. As humans, we are wired for security. Our brain needs to keep us safe from physical danger. So, familiarity is safety, and unfamiliarity is danger. That is how we are wired. So, our mind will always choose the easiest path, will always choose the comfortable path. And comfort sometimes also gets wrapped up in misery. There are people who do not want to move out of a toxic relationship because it is so familiar that the discomfort is now their level of comfort. And they just stick to it. The abuse becomes normal, and they give all the excuses in the world of why they should stay. If they walk out of that relationship, not understanding the core reason of why they took that decision, they immediately run back, thinking that, the known devil is better than the unknown. And that stops us from living the best life that we can lead. And why do we celebrate people who are successful? It's not that people are born with courage. I have taken multiple pivotal life decisions in a span of couple of years. And it was not because I had a lot of courage. It was because I knew I had to take those decisions if I wanted a certain type of life. And each and every decision, the pivotal one that I took, was extremely uncomfortable. It demanded a lot of me stepping out of my comfort zone. And it doesn't end. You don't reach a position in your life where you are extremely courageous now and you can take any decision. It doesn't happen that way. Taking a decision is the least difficult part of living it. The experience of living that decision after you have taken the decision, that is where the entire game of life happens. So, for example, you want to start playing badminton because it's fun, it's healthy, you can lose weight, it's something that is a community game, you can play with a friend or a colleague. And initially, it's so exciting. You go out, buy a new badminton racket, you buy new clothes, new shoes. Sometimes you're super excited, you find a friend, and then you start playing. And when you start playing, that is when you start getting the aches and pains, and the body screams no. And you maybe go for 8 or 9 games, and the 10th game, you're like, this is not for me. I understand if you genuinely don't enjoy playing, that's something different. But most of us, when you think about it, it's just that we don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. And playing badminton, it's not like going to war, right? You're not putting yourself in mortal danger. But the mind will give you so many excuses and walk you out of it. And it will equate it to the discomfort or being in danger. It is extremely important, especially for the youngsters. I wish I had known this when I was younger. It would have completely reshaped my life. We only look at it when we look at athletes and we're like, of course, if I want to win Olympics, if I want to be a great batsman, or if I want to, we look at their discipline, we look at the sacrifices that they make when they wake up, the amount of training that they have to do, even if they are injured, they have to get back onto the field as soon as possible. They don't have the luxury of just waiting it out. And we say, of course, it's their profession. It's not that easy. Just because it's their profession and they have an aim doesn't make it easier for them to embrace discomfort. It is a choice. And that choice has to be taken every time, every single day. And you have to do it no matter what the decision. Even if it is starting to hunt for a new job. How many times have you just opened LinkedIn, created your profile, and then just said, you know what? It's too uncomfortable to give an interview at this age. So, no matter how miserable you are at your current job, no matter that there is no growth, the fact that you know that you have to move, otherwise, you are, at times I have met clients who were physically falling sick because of their job and yet could not take that decision. Maybe they took the decision they want to change the job, but they're not acting on it because it's too uncomfortable to create your resume again, to give a bunch of interviews again. And I understand, I have been there. I know how uncomfortable it is. But if you give that discomfort too much of weightage, it is always going to pull you away from what is meant for you. If you just swallow the pill and accept it that you have to give interviews and it's okay, it's just half an hour of your day when somebody is asking you questions. It's not the end of the world. But looking at the brighter side of why you are doing it, what is it going to lead to? That you will move maybe into a better environment, into a better sector, the pay is going to be better, or your colleagues or your boss, the mental health, everything is going to improve, then this discomfort should not be anything. The reason today I wanted to make this is also I have seen a lot of people waste their life, their potential, because discomfort equated to danger. They have undone the decisions that they have taken. There are people who have spent money, time, effort trying to write certain exams to move out to a new country. And they knew what it took after they will move out to that country. But they have moved out to that country. And when the actual living part of the decision became difficult, like the weather was bad in that country, the food was not great, they could not immediately make new friends, they started questioning the decision for which they had prepared for and thought through for years together and worked hard on. But refusing to accept that the relationship with discomfort is what is the issue. Now, all of us might find ourselves at some point in our life in this situation. So, what do you do about it? First part is be very clear on why you're taking a decision. Even if it is about losing weight. Why do you want to lose weight? It's not just, I want to be healthy. No, that's a surface level and that's not going to anchor you. So start asking yourself, I want to be healthy because I want to play with my children. I want to be healthy and I want to lose weight because I want to take my dog out for a walk. I want to lose weight because I want to wear certain kind of dresses and I want to go party. And like in my case, I wanted to lose weight because I was in tremendous pain with my osteoarthritis. So I wanted a pain-free life or a life with less pain in it. And that is the reason that I wanted to lose weight. Now, when your reasons are very clear for taking a decision, then half of the work is done. The second half is after you take the decision, when the discomfort comes. Because it's very easy to plan. I love planning. I am a planning freak. If you ask me to make checklists and schedules and calendarize everything, I will be very, very happy to do it. But there is execution as well, right? So after you take that decision, say you want to go to Germany to study. You have to learn German. You have to pass a couple of exams before you are eligible to move there and work or study there. I'm saying this because my mom is a German teacher and she has many, many students over the years who have learned German and moved there. Now, most of these people have jobs and they're learning a new language while having a job, while having kids, while having a very busy, already active life. And they squeeze out the time to learn an extremely difficult language. German is one of the most toughest languages to learn. It's like Sanskrit. The grammar is very heavy. And many of them quit because they start with this very beautiful dream of going somewhere. But at the end, they are not able to stick to the discomfort of learning a new language. Now you have to take out time, you have to practice, you have to give exams, and it's not going to be easy. It's a long road of a couple of months. But those that stuck to it, despite their challenges, they were very clear on why they were doing it. They wanted a certain kind of life. They wanted to move to a certain place, experience something new. And so the temporary discomfort, the temporary strain on the brain and on the time did not feel like a huge commitment. And they didn't feel that I did a mistake by trying to learn this language. They went through with it. They crossed multiple exams. They have moved. They moved to, again, a new country, a new culture, and they are happy. It's not about just taking the decision. It is about reminding yourself why you took the decision, and that choice has to be done every single day so that the experience of living with that decision is easy. It's easy on a mental plane. There will always be challenges. There will always be something that you have to do extra in order to reach that place. If you are starting a business, for example, you have to be very comfortable with not getting a monthly salary. You have to go through that discomfort of people asking you, so what's your business doing, when you are just starting? Because starting a business takes time, effort, and it takes years before you can prove yourself. It's the most uncomfortable thing that anyone can plan to do. It is not as honky-dory as it looks like. It makes you grow on every level, makes you comfortable at every single level, and you will end up doing things that you did not imagine you would do. Like, for example, I am here in a hotel lobby talking to the phone, and there are people walking past me, looking at me, trying to, understand what I am doing. I was not comfortable doing this a couple of weeks ago, maybe. But now I know it's a small discomfort that I have to get over so that I can reach you guys. Because from the observations that I've had over these years on decision making, on sticking to decisions, and on how only making decisions is not enough, learning to live those decisions, learning to take them till the end point is extremely crucial. Because what happens when you do that? When you go through the discomfort, you accept it and you grow through it and you reach a goal, you give evidence to your brain that the discomfort is not always equal to danger. That sometimes discomfort is required and it is good and it need not take up so much of stress and importance in your life. And once you start collecting more and more evidence of this in your life, you are able to take much more difficult, tougher decisions, changes, embrace things around you, learn new things, talk to new people without inhibitions. And the texture of your life, the way you experience things in your life, it drastically changes. And it doesn't mean that you changed because you took that one decision. After you took that one decision, the choice you made of accepting the discomfort, of moving ahead with it, and acting, speaking, and being the person that you want to be, that is where all the fun lies in. And that's what I want for all of my friends, colleagues, clients, and all of you, that start being deliberate about understanding why you're taking a decision. Start being deliberate of then choosing to follow through with the decision. Unless, of course, as I said, discernment is extremely important. If you went to a new country for a reason, but there's a war that broke out, of course you're going to come back, right? It's not about pushing through senseless things. Yes, you have to work on your marriage, but if that marriage has gone up to domestic abuse, you have to walk away. So it is discernment. But at the same time, 90% of the time or 95% of the time, the discomfort is not danger. And understanding that is very crucial. And the mistake that most of us do, most of my clients do, is talk to like 20 people. Call up your parents, call up your spouses, call up your school teachers, call up your friends, call remote neighbors. I have seen that, and I'm, saying that the more people that you talk to, the more they are going to give you their version of it, what they would have done, and that is never going to be correct for you. You may want to have someone validate. So, that also happens. You talk to 10 people, and if 6 people tell you what you want to hear, you're very happy and you think that's the right thing to do. But that is a trap you should not fall for. First of all, stop talking to 50 people about your decision and why you want to take it. Have handful, maybe 2 people, maximum 3 people who you just do a quick check with. But in the end, you have to own up to what you're doing. And in the end, it needs to make sense to you at the end of your life journey. So think about this, because every decision in my life has asked me to have a relationship, an uncomfortable relationship with some kind of discomfort. And only after I have accepted that discomfort and embraced it, have I been able to go ahead and achieve anything in life. And I want to give a shout out to my partner, who is a surgeon and who introduced this entire concept of embracing and enjoying discomfort in order for us to gain something to me. And that changed my thinking about not just accepting the discomfort itself, but having a relation with it, learning to understand it to such a level that I stop whining and complaining about it. So, wishing you all the best. This is Thorvi signing off from the podcast today. Have a great day.